The Bears back in town? Really? I think there was some bulls out there buying the dip this morning. We're halfway back on the move, so a lot of corporate news, a lot of surprises. Tape bomb out of TTWO, Take Two Interactive. Earnings, earnings to cover. When you're in the doghouse on Wall Street, it's hard to get out. We're going to discuss UNH. Hey, folks, hump day on pre-market prep. Get your pencil and paper ready.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, let's go to the screens here and get a look at the S&Ps. Little pop at the close, man. That was faded in a heartbeat. Haven't seen that closing price yet at 59 and a quarter. Just kind of leaked all night. You could pick your poison for that, whether politics on the tax cuts or just uneasiness in the market. Maybe blame Palo Alto a little bit, but we're off. We stopped above Monday's low, trying to crawl our way back. Buck under pressure again, down 51 cents at 99.46. If you want to look for a culprit, well, you can look into the bond market. They are down 82 cents. Chart TLT challenging the low of the move. USO, it's up. It was higher. Iran and Israel going at it again. Tell me something I don't know. GLD up a buck 32, 304.90. Silver flat, SLV at 30.12. Bitcoin just comfortably hanging out above 105K. It is down 610 at 106,750. Let's bring in Triple D here. Let's discuss the markets. And for a Tuesday night, with not a lot of, earnings on the deck, there sure was some after hours trading action.
Yeah, we really only had two major companies of note, and that was Palo Alto Networks and Toll Brothers. But there was a lot of random news last night, and it started right after the bell. Probably the first piece of news, and we're going to get to the UNH report here because that was from this morning, but I'm going to just go a little bit out of order and just take the Take Two news because that hit us right after 4 o'clock. And it was, just out of the blue, doing an offering, a secondary offering. I don't think anybody really had that on their radar because one, Take Two, isn't a company that's burning cash, but they did a $1 billion common stock offering that is getting priced at $225. And on that initially, you can just see the stock just tank down, obviously initially last night. And then this morning when we actually got the pricing, why does that matter? Like, why does Take Two, well, one, it's interesting, when you get a company that's doing an offering, but not really in a cash, like we need to raise cash situation. So why are they raising cash? That would be why, I would ask, why are they raising another billion? Are they looking to maybe buy something? Just speculating a little bit myself. Also, we just wanted to teach a little bit about this too, Joel, because what happens, what's the mechanics? Why does a stock tank when they do an offering? Well, the main reason it's dilutive. So your shareholders are going to own less shares when they do a secondary offering. There's more shares outstanding, so the EPS drops because obviously more shares outstanding. The mechanics behind it, though, so when you're doing offerings, is whoever's running the offering will offer that stock to their customers. So if you think you're getting an allocation, a lot of times it's just like customers. It's not like insiders. It's just customers of the firm. So if you think you can get the stock at 225, you can flip that stock out right away at like 230 last night or 228 this morning and just make $3. It's nice to get those allocations. They're sometimes hard to get, but and even in other cases, sometimes people actually short. You get people, and maybe more sophisticated investors that are like, oh, I'm going to get an allocation here. I'm going to go short in the open market at 234, 233, 232, and then your allocation will actually cover you in. So you'll see that happen as well. Bottom line is there is obviously high frequency traders and investors shorting the stock as soon as that news hits, anticipating that there's going to be people who get an allocation that are going to bring the price in.
Kind of interesting here. I mean, I like where they're doing it. I mean, from a company standpoint, right? Maybe they want to pay some execs some bonuses or something. As opposed to like when you see a stock drop, it's in the gutter. This is more the biotech companies. They jam it down the street's throat. They need the money. This is interesting in the fact that why are they doing this? Are they doing are they going to do some upgrades? Are they going to pay some execs? Are they going to do some hiring? Are they going to buy somebody? I don't know who they would buy, but a lot of
It's only
different
$1 million,
reasons.
so we're not talking they're going to go buy like somebody major, like But yeah, are they going to do a little acquisition? We don't know. They say general, administration purposes, often, or they just like blanket everything that they're just going to use this money. We're not telling you why yet. That's what's said in the press release.
All
So,
right.
so we don't really know. What we do know is the offering price is $225. That often acts like a floor for the stock. So not always, but often. Doesn't have to, but often does. So 225 is often where the stock wants to magnet down to, but you'll often see that as a level to hold. Take Two is stock that just hit an all-time high just a few days ago. Is a stock that's been in an uptrend, been a stock loved. Do I think this dip gets bought? I think there's the possibilities for this dip to get bought. I think they're just buying dips across the board. I mean, if they're going to buy the UNH dip the other day on the few insider buys, they're starting to buy dips all over the place here now. So keep that in mind if you're trading it, which probably brings us to UNH.
Yeah, 225.60 stands as your pre-market low. So keep that in mind that there's a great level for you. Okay. All right. Let's just go to another
The
take
news
on
of the
then.
day.
You know,
It's got more bad news again. So UNH first gets downgraded by HSBC last night to reduce, and that put a little bit of pressure on it last night. But then at 6 a.m. this morning, you'll see the flush. What happened at 6 a.m. this morning? The Guardian comes out with an article, and they say that UNH secretly paid nursing homes bonuses to cut hospital transfers, risking patient safety. Whistleblowers allege that residents needing urgent care were denied hospital trips under pressure to keep costs down. One case led to permanent brain damage. This is all coming from The Guardian. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know, how much is true, how much is not true, but being reported here once again. So obviously last week, the Wall Street Journal reporting that the DOJ was investigating them for possible fraud. Now we're getting this report from The Guardian that there's some other shenanigans going on here too. The market sells first, asks questions later. The stock went all the way down, Joel, to like 200 and what? How low did we get on this thing?
got under 294 to 294.20.
And it's bouncing now because the buy the dip mentality is just out there. People are asking, Denny, are you buying this in your long-term portfolio? Denny, are you buying in this long-term portfolio? And the answer right now for me is no, because this story is still unfolding. I don't have enough information to really gauge on, is there fraud? Are there shenanigans? Are these just reports, baseless? We don't know the answer to any of that. We can see on a valuation perspective, UNH is as cheap as it's been in a very long time. But if they start talking about Medicaid fraud and all kinds of other stuff, and the DOJ investigation is real, then there's question marks here. So it's hard to just buy a stock in your long-term portfolio. You can trade anything. I've been trading it, but it's hard to buy a long-term stock in your long-term portfolio when the story is still unfolding, and that is what is still happening here. So for now, I'm still out on the UNH, but it's on my shopping list. If you want to take a shot, I won't argue with you. The dips are getting bought here now. The dip was bought here this morning. But if there's truth to the DOJ and there is potential fraud here, they could revisit those lows. It's possible. So we don't know what's to come, but we just know there seems to be more headlines breaking and they aren't good. So this
Right
Guardian,
now, it doesn't feel like a test of the low is imminent. I mean,
I
but
don't think so.
if something else comes out, of course, and I don't know what all the ramifications. I mean, if someone has brain damage from not being transported enough, I mean, that is something that if that's proved, that's gonna be
It's
very
all
difficult.
scary.
Yep, I'll just set this up technically here, and if you felt like you had to own this stock, well, a pullback from that panic low would take you around 287, 290. So I would look at that area that it has not, the pre-market low hasn't been anywhere near there. Pre-market low 294.20. The dailies are giving you some support here, 97 and a quarter, which we got really close to. That's your 2-day low. So keep it on that. But I also think that there's going to be competition out there between people that want to own the stock and that people did not cover when it was easy to cover, right? When people were like, this thing's going to 200, 190, and they're just waiting. I'm just sitting on it. And then it goes to 325. And they're like, oh, man, sub 300 was good. So let's take a look at the 50% retracement. Let's look at sub 300. Let's see if the bids form. But definitely, bad news. And if you're a shareholder, it might be a little bit of relief that there's some news out. At least you're getting to hear something. But then again, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And as we
That's
know,
what we don't know.
we don't know. You don't want to get SMCI'd,
We
which,
don't want to be Titanic either. So that's, if it's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay.
let's get defensive. Let's get defensive. We had
Sure.
some defense, the dome. If you guys, the Golden Dome, if you guys, I'm sure many of you are aware, but the Golden Dome is the air defense system over that Israel uses over Israel. There's been a lot of talk by Trump about deploying that in the United States. Now, I guess it's good for the defense companies that you own if you own the stock, but in the back of your head, you're going, huh, whoa, why do we need a golden dome? Or does he think people are going to be attacking us with what's going on? So you can look at it, but the biggest benefactor here has been L3 Harris
Yeah.
Technologies. That took off last night, and it's still going.
Yeah, LHX is up $10 here this morning, actually $11 here now. So it's a big pop as they're going to be working on this project. It's a breakout for the stock. An $11 move for L3 Harris is a significant move. It's a stock that has a lower beta, defensive stock, like their defense, but not that it's defensive staples, but obviously working on physical defense of the country. Up $11. It's a big pop. You've seen the other defense stocks pop as well. Lockheed Martin's up 7. General Dynamics really hasn't traded much. NOC, I'm long NOC, full disclosure, which is a stock that I'm actually intending on trading today and trading out of today, just long it overnight, is up $3 here as well. So you're seeing, the defense stocks get a lift here on this news. RTX is the other one that we didn't mention. It's up 1.7% as well. So big pops here for the defense stocks. They've really been firing on all cylinders here too as of late. RTX is near the high multi-year highs. You've got LHX near multi-year highs. I say that very carefully because these stocks were higher back in 2022, but they've been coming back a long ways. They've been, good companies for a very long time.
So the GD is bid at 280, 284.57.
Yeah. GD.
Yeah, because you said it was up $3, and I just
sorry, I said NOC was up $3.
Oh, NOC. Okay.
Yeah, NOC is up $3.
Okay.
General Dynamics is no bids yet, but it's a couple odd lots of traded higher. I would not be surprised to see that too. The direct benefactor here, though, is LHX.
Yeah.
So that's the one that's really moving on it. The other ones are getting dragged up with it. Also, we had
GD, a little breakout. I mean, you did have a double top here at 281 or just under 283. So keep an eye on that level, Dennis. Two highs, 282.91, 282.88. People not making much of a move here in the pre-market on GD. Mr. Trump was also discussing the tax bill yesterday. Now, I don't want to go into the tax bill because there's a lot of ramifications on this for inflation, for the deficit.
Before you even go over there, I just want to stick with the war theme for a second here because last night, people may not notice this because they're not talking about this morning. But there were reports last night that Israel was preparing to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. The oil, if you look at oil last night, it blasted off on this report. Now, we don't have confirmation of that. I think because we don't have confirmation again this morning, oil has leaked. But if you look last night at the USO, or if you want to look at oil futures, they were up as much as 3% last night. So it was up substantially on this report. Now, again, we don't have any confirmation of any of this. So just take that, with it is what it is. But we do see oil trading up here this morning too. So that's on those reports from last night that the U.S. has obtained new intelligence suggesting that Israel is preparing to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. So that's lifting the war stocks as well. So multiple headlines here.
And it just if you listen to Christian Fromhertz yesterday, or you've been tuning in from 2 to 2:30 for Christian's Corner. I mean, there's been trends in these stocks, and if there's anybody that loves a trend, it's Christian Fromhertz, and
He
he has been
does. He's good at
he's been following these. He hates non-trends, and there's
that.
some trends.
He's the
Hey,
anti-contrarian. Me and Christian are opposite a lot of times in our trading because I'll fade everything. I'm like the fade trader, and he's out there obviously jumping and going in the momentum stuff. But the funny thing is, we pick on different stocks. So our strategies work. We just pick on different things. So he's not even looking at stuff trading under the 200-day moving average. Actually, he's just not in there. And I'm like, combing the ditches of what hasn't gone yet. And I'm like, I'm feeling the catch-up trade coming. I'm looking, for other stocks that are trying to lift. So, I mean, those strategies, just stick to what you know. They still work because Christian Fromhertz momentum trader just finds the momentum. He's out there finding it and searching it. And there's always something that has momentum. So even if you're a Momo trader, even if you're in a market that's kind of contrarian, you can still find momentum. And that's, what Christian is excellent at doing. That's why we've got him on this production and on our
yeah.
show.
Okay, wow. 18 minutes in, and we haven't covered one earnings report. And I just want to start with the one I believe that came out first, and that was Palo Alto Networks. And I kind of think it had a high bar there. It was a beat by 3 cents, sales beat, good guidance across the board here. We've talked about this, we've seen this trend. Man, you're up near all-time highs. You've had one heck of a rally. You gotta blow it away. And I think they did okay here. Dennis, talk
The
about the
earnings
price
were fine.
action.
The expectations were through the roof. And we're back to this again. When you're sitting up there at 52-week highs and you're about to report, it's probably going to be difficult for you to go higher unless you blow it away. They did not blow it away. The earnings they raised actually guidance slightly, which you'd think would be good, but they only raised it like 10 cents on the 2025 earnings. So they were looking 318 to 324. They're looking up at 326 to 328 now. So the slight raise. But again, bar, all about the bar. This earnings season continues to be about the bar. It's the only thing that matters. The stocks that are in the gutter, just say anything okay and they can rally. The stocks that are up here have to blow it away to go higher. That's just where we're at. That's the reality of this market. The bar matters more than the report.
190 former support. Now I'd see that resistance, 4 highs in that area. If the bulls just are going to just shrug this off here, they're going to catch a 185 bid here. Actually, right where it's trading right now, you had a multiple lows. So make sure, if you're super bullish on this, you open up, it gets bid 185. If not, there's not much between 185 and 180. You can see the 50-day moving average down here. But not the reaction. If you were long this going to the report, you read the tape, probably a little disappointed, but maybe people that don't Palantir were disappointed too, the way they treated it on earnings day. And we all know what happened after that. Let's switch from a high bar, I guess, to kind of a low bar, out of favor sector. Really hasn't come off the lows. Toll Brothers.
Just a
Toll Brothers
fantastic
comes
example.
in with a nice beat, 350 versus 283. Beat on sales. I don't see much on guidance here, but
They
for
haven't
whom
been giving guidance
they
because
oh,
of clarity. So a lot
thank
of the
you.
home builders have not been giving guidance. I did not see guidance here either. So I'm not sure, if they actually said it on the call. But that's just the uncertain macro environment. A couple of the home builders have not been giving guidance. So I'm not surprised I don't see guidance here.
Boy, these things move all around, up and down and all around, but it seems to be like a little bit of a wall here. I'm gonna call it like 111. Just all these highs, Dennis, all these pesky highs over
Yeah.
110 and 111. Just like we get up there, slam it down. We get up there in April, slam it down. Get up there in May, slam it down again. Is this the day where you catch a 110 bid and just start to get up and perhaps fill this gap area? Well, we shall see. One thing too that you just got to look at all these stocks, and the TLT ain't helping. Lower rates. I saw more that mortgage rates declined big time because of the higher rates. So man, the Fed's not helping these stocks. I don't know if they're going to. They're trying to get off the lows, but with rates where they're at, it's just hard to just run out and just be super bullish this sector.
This is the problem, is even though the bar is lower, even though the earnings were very good, when we look at the macro landscape, TLT matters to the home builders. And when you see longer term rates and the TLT down again, and the TLT perilously close to multi-year lows here, that is not good for home builders. So you can put the TLT on a chart and put the XHB on a chart. They look identical. Maybe not identical, but I wanted to say that from my cousin Vinny. But they look pretty darn close. So why is that? Because interest rates matter for home builders so much. It's everything. You got such a big ticket thing. And if your buyers have to pay more in interest, they're unlikely to build a new home. Like if they can't afford, if obviously interest rates are 2% or interest rates are 5%, it's a hell of a difference when you're going to get a mortgage. So just keep that in mind, that there's nothing more sensitive interest rates than home builders. We always talk about XBI and the biotechs because they borrow a lot of money too. It's not that the home builders need to borrow money. It's that their customers need to borrow money. And that's even more of a problem. It's like the solar was the same thing. We talked about rates. Rates are a problem for solar because their customers need to borrow money. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, and boom, let me get. Oh, look at that. I got my charts back pretty quickly. All right, let's go to some AM earnings here. And when you're in the doghouse, you have a target on your back. It just seems like
I
you
love
just
what you did there.
okay. Well,
That's funny.
when you miss by 34 cents, 130 versus 164, and you miss on your sales, it's
And
23
Walmart and
5.
Costco continue to kill it.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
probably go down, even though the bar is lower. Target, 2 is company, 3 is a crowd. We've been saying it for a long time. Target is completely on the outs here now, with the $1.30. It's a huge miss, Joel. And even though the bar was lower, and they actually bought this a bit after the report,
They
which
did.
was a head scratcher. I was like, they bought this report, and I'm looking at it and thinking, what the hell are the algos thinking? Yes, there's a low bar here, but man, this is a bad report. How high did Target trade on this report?
You don't want to know.
I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
103.76.
What are
What?
people doing? They bought this up $5. This is a disaster. This is an epic disaster of a report. And they're like, well, it's got a low bar. No, it's a bad report, and it's a company that is struggling tremendously. There's been too many bad reports for Target for too long. Stock was $267 back in the bubble of 2021. It is now $93 here. It is the Nike, it is the Kohl's, it is, whatever stock, it is the advanced auto parts of the big 3 retailers. It is 2 is company, 3 is a crowd. Target continues to underperform. I want nothing to do with this dip, even though dips are getting bought across the board. And maybe it gets bought just because money managers like, oh, hell, buy me some Target. I just got to buy something. This will not be entering my long-term portfolio.
You know what a phrase we've never used before on this show is that there was a low bar. They dug into the ground.
Yeah. They dug into the ground to climb under the low. The bar was sitting on the ground. They dug holes to climb under that bar. No, to crawl under that bar.
With jackhammers. I mean, basically
Everything they had to do. It was on the
dynamite.
concrete ground, and they actually, they used jackhammers to get under this. It's impressively bad. So deservingly so. Stock is down, even with the low bar. I don't even know what else to say about Target. I mean, Walmart dip got bought. Target is not Walmart. I think we can just end it there.
As far as it's down and everything, I know this is not investment advice. I don't see us testing the double bottom at 87 and a quarter, 87.88. If you're super bearish, that's what you hold out for. You do see some intermediate lows ahead, but I mean, right now you just got a step down seller, and he's just going into the pit and saying, "Give me a bid, bid," and then hitting the bid, and then you know what guys used to do? They would say bid, bid in the pit, and then you would bid, and then they would hit you, and then they were offer it lower. So you were automatically a loser on the trade. Did you follow that?
Yes.
Okay, that's a
I'm
little
done with
technical.
Target.
Okay, all right, done with Target.
It is
Let's
dead
go
to
to a
me.
stock that is in Dennis's portfolio.
All right.
Baidu. Baidu had reports yesterday, last night, middle of the evening, 255 versus 196. Beat on the sales, 447 versus 430. Nice little pop out of Baidu. Will it last?
Who knows? Probably not, because do Baidu pops ever last? Yes, I'm in the long-term portfolio. I sold half of it recently just because it's been like I'm in from like 92, and I'm like, you know what? It's been this so long. It's just been sitting and doing nothing. Eventually, it's I think eventually valuation should matter, but I don't know anymore. Like maybe it doesn't. This is like one of the cheapest tech stocks out there, but it's China, and China is just hated. So it seems like bounces are always to be sold in Baidu. So I'm not chasing here today. And I'm half the size. It's back to a normal size position. It used to be a double size position in my long-term portfolio, and it's just single sized here now. Dips back down to 75 to 80, over the course of the next few months. I'll probably rebuy the shares. But at this point in time, it's just bounces has just been sold. So despite, the company firing on all cylinders and doing everything well, exact opposite of Target, it's just hated because it's a China stock. I mean, the stock, 255 in the quarter, maybe even $10 a year. It's trading like 9 times earnings. They're doing like autonomous, they're doing, AI, they're doing everything you want them to do. If this stock was in the US, it'd be a $300 stock, but it's unfortunately not. It's in China, and that's why it continues to be punished. And we don't know where the China war is going here either. They talked a little while ago about delisting ADRs. There was rumors. I mean, that would be terrible. So I think just not been the place to be.
Kind of unknowns of unknowns.
Too
Going
many.
back to the retail theme here, a loved stock, not getting a ton of love today. That would be TGX companies. They beat 92 versus 90. They beat on sales 1311 versus 13. Let's see, guidance 97 to a buck versus 103. That's not the greatest, but they reaffirmed 26 gap guidance. A little bit lower there too, 430, 434, 443 versus 449. And Dennis, I don't know. What do you call them out there? The sneaky seller after hours, the
Yeah,
alert
somebody was hitting
algo.
this after hours pretty heavily here. They had a pretty good inkling. It did come back pre-market there, and I was actually long some. I was able to actually sell it before the report. I'm actually short a little bit here right now. Just it's a hedge with Ross stores, so don't. It's not really a directional bet. I'm just long some Ross, so I short some TJX with it. I don't know. It's a
That
stock that's just loved, loved, loved. The dip got bought immediately on the report, so it dipped down to 128, and it was down there for like half a second, and then they bought it back up to 132, 133. The report was fine, the bar was high, but this is just the retailer that fires on all cylinders all the time. Think about how bad retail has been. TJX has been unbelievable.
Dennis, I have a name for this trade that you're in right now. It's
What is
like,
that? It's called a pairs trade, Joel.
well, it's a pairs, but it's like you're trying to salvage the trade. Like you had the TGX long, it kind of didn't work out. You're just trying to wiggle
Yeah,
out.
no, it's not that at all. I was already in Rust. So
Oh, you're
it's
in
not that.
Ross?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Ross.
Oh,
I'm long Ross. So I'm short TJX. So
oh,
yeah,
wow, you
there's
flipped it
salvaging
that
trades.
quickly.
So okay, this is a good lesson here. We got 3 minutes here. People will go and when they get down, I'm going to rake calls. I'm going to go do some options. I'm going to try to save. I am not that trader. I do not look for a way out of a losing trade. I take my losses. That is how I've survived for 26 years. It's how I'll continue to survive for as long as I trade going forward. I don't think you want to go on these rescue missions to go rescue stocks and figure out another way to I can't take a loss. Heaven forbid. I take a loss on my trade. I don't ever lose on trades. I'm going to do some options. I'm going to do some other stuff. Take the loss. That's what you do when you're wrong. You take the loss. You don't find a way out. You don't wait for it to come back. Because you know what 90% of the time they do? The 10% it doesn't, you get hurt really, really, really bad. Discipline. That's what we talk about in the STN room all the time. We're trying to teach people. Discipline, risk management. That is what will define your trading career. It won't be how good of a stock picker you are. Forget about that. You're wrong. I'm the greatest stock picker in the world, so I'm going to make a lot of money in the stock market. Some of the greatest stock pickers in the world lose money in the stock market because they have no discipline and risk management techniques. Have risk management. It's all about that, 100%. If you ask me, what is the most important thing in stock market trading? It is taking the loss, discipline, and risk management.
And this is kind of the stuff that we try and try and emphasize in the STN room. We have a little bit smaller group, but a tight community, and just trade management and not letting it affect your overall psyche. Let's keep going. Let's keep going on the retail theme here. Lowe's, we go to the Lowe's report. Lowe's is trading higher by nearly $4 in the pre-market. Lowe's didn't disappoint. 292 versus 289. Mixed report, though. They did disappoint on the sales a little bit, just a slight miss there. Guidance, you could drive a truck through it, 1215, 1240 versus 1223. Sales guidance for 2025 looks okay. Boy, I don't, it doesn't trade exactly like Home Depot. But if I would have seen this pop to 239.99, nice round number like that, you got a little bit of a fade. But Home Depot went from major league green to in the red. Will that be the same story for Lowe's here? Who knows? Let's look at the price action, Dennis. There probably was some trading in the after hours in this one.
Well,
Did
and
you get?
remember, Toll Brothers helps this too. Toll Brothers reported pretty good numbers here. Home Depots and Lowe's can move with the home builders as well, because obviously they supply a lot of building materials to the home builders. So, that is a consideration here, that you got the home builders all up today. So that helps Lowe's case a little bit here. Yes, the Home Depot dip was faded, but the Lowe's rip, or the Lowe's rip yesterday faded back too. So I'm going to sit this one out. I could see it go either way. It could fade again, but it could also, build off of it too, pun fully intended.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at. I mean, still yesterday's highs in play. Let's forget about the pre-market high. Let's just focus on yesterday's high. That's still $2 away. That's 237.54. So before you start thinking about the 240, the luscious 240 area, let's take out yesterday's high, which was a new high for the move. You got to be careful on the downside here. You sniffed. There was probably an odd lot under 230. But the Bulls, what their job is to defend the pair of lows at the 230 area. That's a look at lows. Let's just stay a little bit more on the retail theme. Dennis, I'm not going to pick on Canada Goose Holdings. I'm not going to say that their coats are way too warm. Well, they're expensive, but have you ever tried one on?
No, I'm anti-Goose, because I tell you, they're just on my property so much here. They swim up, they poop all over the beach, they poop all over the lawn. They just poop. And we got like a little invisible fencing we're trying to use. Like, it's literally everybody here on the water just battles the Canada geese continuously here. It's a full-on battle with them. And they have their babies and they come up and they just make a mess. They poop like as big as a dog. So it's like you just got 100 like dog poops all over your lawn when they're there for 20 minutes. So they poop every 5 minutes too. So I absolutely hate Canada geese. And I know it's like the bird of Canada and goose, but I just couldn't bring myself to buy one of the. Actually, maybe I should, because you're killing the geese for that. So maybe they don't kill the geese; they just pull the feathers off of them. I don't know. But Canada goose, just jokes there. Canada goose, I'm just not a fan of geese altogether, so I'm not going to ever buy that stock.
Yeah, this segment was sponsored to you by PETA. In case you're wondering.
They're now calling us up and saying, "Hey, what are you talking about? You're attacking our Canada geese here." There's like videos of them. They're crossing the road they were on the 400. They were on the 400, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And traffic is stopped on both sides. This whole family of Canada geese is trying to cross the 400 major highway there. And there's like pictures of them. And they don't care. They're just there like, what are you honking at? I can honk back. They don't care. They're up here on the roads. They think they own the place, man. They really do. It's ridiculous. Anti-Goose right here. Pre-market prep is anti-Goose.
Can I make a cheap recommendation? And I hope Laura's not listening.
Okay.
Does Spencer have a BB gun?
They can't. PETA's gonna really attack us here now. PETA's gonna really attack us. Stop talking like that. We're going to get banned. We're going to stop talking. We do not. And anything we say, we do not shoot Canada geese. We don't like
the views and opinions. The views and opinions of Joel Elconin are the views and opinions of the zone, and not the views and opinions of Pre-market prep.
Did you have a BB gun, Dennis?
Yes, when I was a little kid, I did. I always shot at targets. It wasn't bad like you, Joel, and shooting all the animals in the neighborhood. I shot at targets.
We didn't have
targets, so you shot up the neighborhood. You were a bad kid. We know.
No,
you were a bad child.
I used to throw snowballs and apples at cars. That
you're a bad child. I don't even know how you got this far. You should have been thrown in juvie. You're a bad kid.
There's nothing like the thrill when those people stop their car and come chasing you.
Snowball, they're gonna cause an accident. You were so
I know. I feel bad. You know what I also don't do anymore?
Bad.
You know what I don't do anymore?
I feel bad.
Do you know the golf cart trick when you're riding with somebody in a golf cart?
What do? Hit the brakes and make them go through the windshield? It's pretty mean.
It's better than that.
You got to stop talking. You're burying yourself.
Okay, all right. I won't tell you.
We're losing viewers right now because of this.
I don't do it anymore. Okay, let's go to XPEV.
Okay. Go.
Let's go to XPEV. That is trading up. Chinese EV company, I believe. Xpeng, even though why is it the symbol XPEG? But
we couldn't get it.
They lost less than they thought, 6 cents versus 21 cents. They made some money. Wow. Sales 2.18 billion versus 900 million. That's not bad. That's a nice
good. This XPEV is back. You know, everybody talked about NEO being the one over there, and it's not the one. XPEV is the one. It's been coming, and it's been doing and kicking ass and taking names. $6.65 up to $27 at the beginning of last year. It's back down the 20 area. But you know what? Consolidation station here a little bit. It's been, looking like it's showing life. I don't chase in this market. I know some people have been making money chasing, but, I'm not a big chaser ever. But, the stock chart looks fine to me.
Got to pop if you're trading this one. Got to pop into the 21 handle. Not too far away. 21 and a quarter, your pre-market high. If you believe in double tops, there's a double top here. Let's call it 2150. Oh yeah, 2150, because that's the area of 3 highs going back to the beginning of April. Hey Dennis, watch your bids there. We're kind of leaking here. Nothing major, but I don't think we had anything coming out. Just kind of like bid hitting those bids out there. So there you go. I'll put a 2.5 star, 3 star on XPEV for a level if you're trading that. What do we got? What do we got going after the close today, Dennis? We're still in earnings season, and
a lot. So after the close, well, in pre-market too tomorrow, but after the close, we got Snowflake. Everybody be watching some snow. We got Urban, URBN, and we also have Zoom Media, ZM. We can preview those quickly here. Let's take a look at Zoom. It's been running. Is that still Kathy Peck? She's still all in on Zoom. We use StreamYard here now, but she all still in on Zoom, zooming it up. It's been like the value trade, actually. People keep thinking it's a growth stock, but it's not. It's a value name. I'll give you the PE on that puppy because it's pretty darn low. Like I said, it's a one-trick pony, though. They need to figure out another trick there. So Zoom PE, forward PE is 15 only. Current PE is 25. So price to sales only 5. They've done a lot of things, really well. They got tangible book. They got lots of cash. They got a lot of good things, from a valuation perspective. But they got no growth. When you got no growth, the market don't care. They want to hear growth.
This has been a Can you remember the guest that has been liking this one for a long time?
You
He doesn't
always
come out a ton.
quiz me. He quizzes me constantly, and I never get any of them right. Like I'm 0 for like 10,000 on this show. I wish he'd stop quizzing me live. Okay, who is the guest?
I'll give you his initials.
Give me the guest initials. I mean, it makes me guess everything. Chat, you guess.
S.A. He's younger.
Not helping me.
He's definitely younger than us.
Hundreds of guests on this show.
His first name is Sean.
Well, it's not Sean Udall.
No?
Sean. Well,
yes.
It's not Sean Emery?
Yep.
Well, that's not A. It's an E.
Oh, I meant. Well, he messes me up.
That's ridiculous.
You know what? He messes me up because he's the Avery group.
S.A. And I'm like, I even get it right. I was like, I think it's Sean Emery. But he says,
but he's part of the Avery group. I'm telling you.
His last name's Emery. I don't care what group he's in.
Okay. Back in your cage. God, where's Christian? Where's Christian when you need him?
I'm like a genius.
Christian, are you listening?
I read through his.
Could you go, Christian? Christian, can you come on the show? What else do we have after the close, Dennis?
He's got to change the subject fast. Don't do acronyms with Joel. Okay. Coming after Zoom, snow. We're talking snow. I know everything about snow. 7 months of snow up here in Georgian Bay. Finally don't have snow on my lawn. Finally, the snow is gone. It is almost June. But talk to me about the stock. Give me some technicals. SNOW. I can go find the expected move.
Okay, here's a couple things. First, I want to go back to Zoom. Oh man, this 85 area, holy macro, peaked there that would be last Friday, and that someone just selling at 85 in February. Just a massive seller there. So there's the big move if you could get over 85. Snowflake. Couple things here. I know it's way off its all-time high, but it's had a nice rally from 120 to 182. I think it's kind of a high bar here. I wouldn't throw it exactly in the Palo Alto Networks basket, but I think after this kind of run, you better make sure you hold this 180 support. And if you're looking for higher prices, 190 and change, you got to get through the wall of sellers at 184.
19 points the expected move, so it's a pretty big one. That would take us down to about 162-ish, or take us up to 200. Keep that in mind. Think about, your CC Ligator expected range when you're trading that tonight. It's important to look at that. Again, how we do that is we have the calls and puts the closest strike, and it quickly gives us the expected move. Tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, so I didn't decipher which one, so it's just tomorrow. Workday, Autodesk, Ross Stores, Deckers, Burlington, Intuit, Dollar Tree, Advanced Auto Parts, ADI. We never get out of earnings season. A lot of these are pretty big companies reporting. And don't forget Build-A-Bear. We love Build-A-Bear. They sell 10 bears and they can pay their bills because they're so expensive. BBW reports as well. The stock that everybody thought was going out of business and the stock that has defied gravity. Unbelievable. But I tell you, when you pay $50 to build a $2 stuff, there's some good margins there.
You want to talk bonds at all?
Yeah, sure. Talk to me. Bond me.
What are
you going? Where are you going?
The bond investing public, I don't know if they don't like the tariffs. I don't know if they like the tax bill. I don't know if they're worried about
that federal officials are saying only one cut this year. That's what they don't.
If we get one.
I said this show 3 weeks ago, I don't think we're going to get any. I think there's going to be 0 Fed cuts this year because I believe inflation is going to come storming back in the second half. Storming back due to tariffs. I know Trump's saying Walmart, you better eat them. Amazon, you better eat them. They ain't going to eat them, folks. Sorry to poo-poo on the party. Walmart is not going to start losing money to try to save customers and not going to lose money to try to please the president. So sorry, they're going to pass this
on. What about the utilities? Holy mackerel. Are they not looking at the TLT chart? Or is this
Defense.
or is we just need
I
energy
know.
to
I know.
power, yeah, to power
It's a little
everything.
bit of that, but it's also, XLP holding up pretty well. Markets playing full defense. So normally in normalized markets, when the TLT are going down, XLU and XLP are going down with it. This has not been that market. The market is still hiding and playing defense here. And I think it's because money managers are still scared. There's a lot of people who are scared out there, and they are hiding in utilities and hiding in staples because these are things that people are going to have to buy no matter what. So that's the anticipation of a recession. So it's very interesting in this market environment. The TLT continue to tank, but XLU and XLP continue to go higher. Normally they go lower. Why is that? Because those are yield plays, and when you're getting higher yields in government treasuries, there's usually going to be less demand for higher yields in staples and utilities, which have company-specific risk. That is not the case because I think there is fear by money managers of still a recession looming. We hear JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon comments. It's not just, a few select people. There's a lot of people who believe we're going into recession in the second half, and they are positioning for that by continuing to buy staples and utilities. So it is disconnected from the TLT, at least for now.
Okay, let's rip through some ratings today. Overall, we've had 4 upgrades and 5 downgrades today. First, let's just start. Jeffries comes out with this big old note on the banks, much of stocks here. Dennis, did you get much from that note?
No. So when you come out and Jeffries came out with like a buy ratings on like 10,000 regional banks, it feels like that's obviously an exaggeration, but there was like 15 or 20. It's watered down note. When you have an analyst come out with one note on one stock, it's like, oh, and it's like, a retail follow stock. Even regional banks, people don't really follow them. So usually when you get ratings on retail banks, it usually isn't, very influential. But when you do it on like 25 regional banks, it almost has no impact at all. So yeah, we see, just Jeffries known, and they're, putting buy ratings on MTB and a whole pile of other ones as well. But to even cover that here, I could go through the list. I don't think it's going to be market moving. So I glossed over it and kind of skipped it.
Okay, Home Depot getting a vote of confidence here, getting an upgrade here. I believe it's from Stiefel. So a day after its earnings, it comes out, it says, hey, getting a little bit of a bump up 52 cents. I would just, for this one, Stiefel, call it Stifle, whatever you want. How do we resolve this bar here? This is a big red bar. It was on earnings day. You got a nice double bottom here at 374. You're not too far away from it. What's the market environment? Are we just going to buy this up, just clear out this red bar and get to 390? That's $13 away. A little bit of a trapdoor at 374 for Home Depot.
Pitches in the dirt. I'm not swinging at pitches in the dirt. I don't know if it goes up or down from here. Sometimes just don't swing. I like swinging at pitches right up the middle. AutoZone is the other one. This is significant. AZO getting upgraded to buy at B of A. Now they're upgrading it to buy. The stock has just been running and running and running forever and ever and ever. Quietly one of the best stocks in the markets over the course of the last 10 years. The stock in 2018 was $500. It's $3,880 here now. It's an unbelievable company. They're talking about, and I'll just dive into the note here for a second. So B of A Securities analyst Robert Ohms upgraded AutoZone. Price target $4,800. So another $1,000 higher. So than where the stock currently is. That's a raise. Diving in here, they're looking at consensus. They're looking at a number of things. They're saying rising just from the head of the rising new and used car prices support the industry. Lots of reasons to like AutoZone here. So fundamental call here. Stock, hard to argue with this one. This is your classic Christian Fromhertz momentum play here. It's got all the momentum, and the momentum hasn't subsided for a decade. So it's up 15 points. Actually, it's up 25 points here in the pre-market. I know if you're looking, because you have to have 100 shares for it to officially change the price, but because it's a $3,000 stock, It's odd lot central. Trades with odd lots all over the place. $3,906 is the last odd lot, so that would put up 26 points. So it's going up today.
No one's going to remember this except for Dennis, and he probably won't remember. This kind of reminds me of the Bank America call back in March of 2015 off Biogen's Alzheimer's drug. Remember that? And that stock just exploded.
Went to 475.
Yeah. Yep.
And
480.
it's been down ever since. 480.
And then
I wrote it down. I wrote it all the way up and I wrote it all the way down. I was, wish I sold some of it on the way up. Wish I would have sold it all. I obviously got out of the rest of it last year, I believe, at around 180, which is a good sale too. It's just been a value trap of all traps. And drugs really happen. If it's not Eli Lilly, the value stuff, the drugs have all been value traps. I know Gilead, there's some select ones, but PE is 8 on this thing. It's just hated. The Alzheimer's story there is just, like, I don't know why it never ignited off of that, but they never got full approval on it either. And obviously it's just lots going on there, but value trap central.
All right. We've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of emails. We mentioned the Stock Trader Network, and I feel that we really haven't fully explained what it is. And so we just want to take a few minutes today to talk about the Stock Trader Network. We could give you some of the details of it. Here's our site. Of course, we decided to bring our bird over, right? Early bird gets the worm. And the first thing I want to tell you is that Dennis and I had done 4 educational videos. So if you sign up for the site, you do get those 4 educational videos for free.
Yeah, 12 hours of education. I mean, that's what we've said. Even just take the free trial and you can actually get in there and watch the education. So it's shocking that, this many, that people didn't even sign up for the free trial, a lot of people. So I think we're providing really good information in there. And it's a small group. It's really group mentoring in there is really what it is right now, because we're a smaller group. We're answering every questions. The people who are in there really love it. Just a lot of people just haven't tried it. They just haven't tried us out there. So we are in there so here's the schedule of pretty much every day. Me and Joel are there from 9 to 10:45, taking you through the open, talking imbalances, talking opening trades, talking setups, talking all kinds of cool stuff. Then we have a break, and then we have on Fridays we have CC Legator. We have other guests that come in there like Mark Chaikin, me Schneider, all kinds of other people in there. And then at 2:00 we have Christian's Corner. He comes in talking swing trading, and then obviously at 3:30 we do our closing show, where I'm with you, me and the Brentster take you through all the news, all the events from 3:30 to 5, actionable ideas, doing my closing trades, doing after hours trading, doing all this with you. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, we have a lot of fun in there. We're trying to make traders better traders. That's the whole point, is to try to help traders become better traders. So education mixed with trading ideas, mixed with news, breaking news, and covering all that as well, because we feel like we break the news a lot faster. I mean, people are paying for news feeds. We're breaking news in here too, so we're doing that as well. So I feel like there's this tremendous value here. I know some people said, "Oh, it's $179. I can't afford it, or it's too much money. I get everything for free." I always say you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. So
okay, Dennis, I want to go back here. I want to go back here a little bit. You're looking live at the STN room right now, and we go over there at 9:00. But there's more. You guys get your PMP from 8 to 9. Everyone knows that. For a while, you were getting the wrap. Brent in the background, besides producing the show, does an excellent daily wrap. So if you have a real job or you listen to the show on YouTube and you don't get all these great tidbits, you don't have a chance to write everything down, you get a wrap. That's usually out by 10 a.m. Not from 9 to 10:30, 10:30, 11:15, we do the opening bell tell. That's where Dennis reviews his overnight trades, his potential strategies to get out of them on the open. And then we'll go with the opening imbalances. and which is very, very important. Trades off the opening balances, and then we take what we see off the open. A lot of times off the open, there's a lot of different moves. There's counter moves. There's high lows of the
Everything
days.
changes, Joel.
Yeah,
Everything changes. So what we talk about on pre-market prep, everything could change on a Trump tweet. Everything could change on a dime. And then we're like, okay, rotation's moving this way. So, we're trying to like not only educate, but trying to guide, and it's not a shadow trader product. Like some people were disappointed. They're like, oh, I just want to do what everything Dennis does. And we're all going to it's not that kind of product, but I'm giving you, like I every time I do a swing trade, a long-term investment, I'm posting my my closing trades. So we're trying to, and I'm talking through a lot of my after hours trading as well. So you're just getting a glimpse. What it is a think tank. We're putting in, all of our minds together, trying to come up with different trading ideas, different stories. And then we're bringing in other people as well to give us more. And we're working on more content as well. Just bringing other people, obviously, to give us more content. So, it's to continue to be a work in progress. But like people are saying, oh, $200 a month, so much money. Go out there and shop chat rooms. Go out there and look. They're $300, $400, $500. We're actually on the cheaper end of having these 24/7 chat rooms. So, I mean, try it out is what I'm just saying, like give it a free trial. If you don't like it, you just cancel in the first 7 days and you don't have to pay. But if you do like it, I mean, then you can change your career. Like I just think about like what I pay for information. So I pay about $2,000 a month in information. That's what I pay. So I have to make $2,000 to break even. That's not talking commissions or anything, because I have multiple news feeds. I've got scanners. I've got all this, I've obviously, got, trading platforms. I've got, exchange fees. I have all this stuff, coming at me. It's a business. Trading is a business. And if you want to do this for a business, do this full time, that's what our room is designed for. But it's also designed to help investors too. Like think about it. You got one investment idea. We had, we had Michael Pachter in yesterday. We get lots of people coming in doing different things and talking different ideas. You get one trade off of it, you can make $200 easily. So give us a try.
speaking of
That's all we're
Michael
asking.
Pachter, he came in and talked. Michael has his law degree, and he came in with some very interesting observations on a recent ruling. And we all know how Michael guided us through the Activision Microsoft trader. So, it's Microsoft Activision deal. So there's political implications and stuff. Michael's one of our great friends, and he joins the show. Also, I know a lot of people are fans here of Christian Fromhertz, who helps us co-host on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Christian's Corner from 2 to 2:30. He gives what's going on during the day, how he's adjusted to the market environment. He's good on the macros. On Friday, we do a little bit of a special. We do CC Legator options. He comes on at 1:30, talks about the weekly and monthly option expirations. And then 3:30 to 5, the closing bell tell, live trading at the close, overnight setups, reacting to the news that we gave you today. There was a ton of news with the UNH and the Take Two. And just if that's not enough for you, you get a daily wrap at the end of the day, and Josh does that for us. Wraps up the day in very succinct form, and you get that delivered to your mailbox usually by 4:30, 5 o'clock. So if you missed the pre-market show and you missed the morning email, but you wanted to find out what was going on, very good information coming out of that. So we're up against the
Brent,
clock here, Dennis.
can you post the code? They wanted the code and the link. So
Okay.
it's stocktradernetwork.com. And the post is it PMPSTN to get $20 off? There it is. There it is. So he's got it up there on the screen there right now. So stocktradernetwork.com, PMPSTN. Give us a try. That's all we're asking. You don't like the service, but the people who have signed up, a lot of people, like we have really good retention. So the people who have actually signed up, a lot have stuck around.
Yep, and just a little tease here. Sign up now, enroll, and you'll be happy later when we expand our content, our hours, because you will be in on the ground floor Wrapping it up, starting out in the red here. Let's see if we can hold that pre-market low, 59.05. Wrapping it up on this Wednesday. Todd Gordon joins us tomorrow at 8:35 to give us his look at the markets. Folks, everyone have a good day.